We got a great Browns film breakdown lined up for you today. It's Jake and Brad. We're going to do the opener. We're going to talk through some of the things around Berea, injury reports, information around who's practicing, who's not for both teams, as far as what we know from the reports. And then we will spend some time talking about Quinnion Judkins' latest and a little bit on the 30-year celebration, which is probably being overblown, but I do think it's at least worth stopping and hitting on. So we spend some time on those. Then we have some time with Ken McKusick of Film Study Ravens, who we've had on this show many times, and always look forward to having that midweek visit with the opposing team. And Ken's a great guest. So it's an exciting Browns film breakdown lined up for you, brought to you by Monfredi Dental. Let's get started right now. Welcome into today's show. We're happy to be here. It's Thursday, September 11th, which is unfortunate. It was a tough day across the country yesterday. We don't usually get too far into those things, and we won't hear other than just healing and safety for those around you, and hug your loved ones tight. That's about it. So we think of anyone who was impacted on September 11th all those years ago. Brad, I was in 7th grade, man, science class. Can't forget when you heard about it. Didn't even know what they were in 7th grade when those towers fell, and you learned a lot that day. I think we all kind of, young folks like me at that time, grew up a little bit because we had to understand it. So it's hard to imagine now we're 25 years removed, 24 years removed from it. It's pretty wild. So, I don't know, Brad. I don't know if you have anything you want to say about it, but I certainly know that we have a large contingency of New York folks who listen to the show. Surprisingly enough, love those New York folks we have that listen. And if you were impacted by that, or anybody, you don't have to be in New York to have been impacted by it, and Pentagon or anyway, maybe loved ones went off to war around those times. It doesn't miss us. And I hope the country who had a hard day on Wednesday takes time to remember those folks today. So, yeah.
I was a sophomore in college. Came home from class. I was living in a fraternity house at the time. You can make fun of me all you want for that. Everybody was just standing in one room around the TV. You know what I mean? I didn't know what was going on. It was in between the first and the second when I walked in. I remember you remember it so vividly. You know what I mean? But the thing that I think that escapes a lot of us sometimes is the wide berth of impact, like how many people were impacted by it. And not just on that day, but to your point, in the years following, with people going overseas and serving our country and whatnot that resulted from that. So
still probably ramifications that trickle through from that day. So
absolutely. So good thoughts for everybody out there, and appreciation on this end.
Yeah. Hug your family, man. Love them. Love the people that love you. And love the people that don't love you at the same time. I think some of that stuff would be good for our country. Sure. To football now, which is what you're here for, I think. The Cleveland Browns have a big contest with the Baltimore Ravens this weekend, Brad, and I won't spare my opinion being shared a second time on this. I shared it with Ken when I went on his show. He's coming on our show, and I kind of reiterated it. Where are you on the 30-year celebration for Baltimore here? Which is their first home game, which they have noted, and to which I believe it is scheduled way in advance. And I don't think the NFL or the Ravens knew they'd get the Browns the first game here.
Okay.
And feels like more of an NFL problem than anything to me, that the NFL could have known and probably did. I mean, they did know. Maybe to Ken's point later, wanted this. Maybe they wanted the noise around it. I don't know, but anyway, you share your opinion on it because it was a hot topic today. Not that it matters all too much what folks think about it from, this is going to happen. It's going to go through. It just is an interesting topic because, on a way lesser scale here, the Browns leaving Cleveland had a real impact on people's lives. And I was young during it, so it didn't impact me the way it maybe did you, Brad, when you were maybe like a middle schooler or close to that, and you maybe remember more of how your parents felt about it and all of that. I was a little too young at 6 years old. So yeah, man, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's it felt pointed initially, to your point, like and classless, but to your point that you made that they scheduled it way in advance. So once again, you kind of have to look at the NFL like you could have avoided this very easily.
Right.
And it's a
Right.
slap in the face, especially with the Ozzy stuff too.
Yeah.
He's the Browns' all-time leading receiver, and a lot of the day I know is honoring him and stuff. At least that's my understanding. So I think that yeah, the NFL likes its drama and they like to stir stuff up. So I don't put it past them doing this on purpose.
And it's also funny. Joe Flacco talked for a while on this, and he's super connected to the Baltimore side. Like if this was a time where Joe was retired, he'd probably be there. They're bringing in a bunch of
Yeah,
legends and all of that stuff. And it's funny hearing Joe talk about it because he's making the safe thing to say is I do think it's not just saying it safely. I think it's true that they're not nefarious here by doing this. You can't just have the schedule drop in what does it drop, March or April, and
yeah,
then be like, okay, we're gonna move our celebrate. You got dates, you got to set up times, you're
yeah,
doing parades, you got the logistics of the whole thing takes so much. And Joe tried to like put that out into the world, and he's playing both sides because he loved his time in Baltimore. Obviously, that was before we got to know him. Right? We hate his ex, but ultimately he's still involved over there, and that will never change. It'll be a part of him forever.
yeah.
And it is funny hearing him say that he hasn't been back there. I didn't know that. I would have
I didn't
figured
know that either.
in some capacity the Jets had gone there, or even last year the Colts maybe had gone there, but he came to Cleveland when the Browns had already gone through the Ravens cycle that year in 23. So he hasn't gone back. It's just funny, like you said, they're honoring Ozzy a lot, connected to Cleveland. Browns are bringing Joe Flacco back into Baltimore for the first time since Joe has left in 2018. It's funny. It's pretty funny.
It's
Ironic.
very incestuous.
It really is, man. It really
So,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we spent enough time on that. Quinnion Judkins update. We've got like I don't know. Are we on? We do have a counter behind me on the wall, so we should like put a whiteboard up. How many times we've done this? It's probably on number 75
Yep.
or something like that. He was apparently at the NFL offices today. That means he was not at practice. The understanding we have from those on site who talked to the team is that he is going to be out at practice tomorrow, going through things the next few days, and the intention is he could play this weekend. What role that looks like could be minimal, but
Yeah.
the idea here is that he's going to practice the rest of the week and potentially play if they feel like he's up to snuff in terms of like the verbiage of what they're trying to do. He took a long time off here, man, of like staying up to beat on how they're calling plays and what their process is. And if it's Saturday if it's Friday's practice and he still doesn't have a good feel for how they're operating different things, then he probably won't play. But they're going to give it a try, and I think they want him to play. He's a good player. I would want him to play too.
Do you have an expectation here or none?
If he plays, it won't be much. It would
No.
probably be 15 or lower snaps. Some things that are very specific and simple for him. Like he wouldn't be put in pass pro because he'd have to sort through some different. I can't say with certainty. I hate when we do this, and I'm guilty of it sometimes too. I don't know where he is with the mental side of things. Maybe he was way ahead of it when he was there in the summer. Maybe they've been checking in with him and sending him nightly film clips and sending things to him and staying. So maybe he steps back in and he's comfortable. I would be surprised if he's got like 30 snaps on Sunday. So I would say 20 or less is like a safe assumption if he plays. If he plays 20, a couple things happened. They were holding him accountable with workouts and staying moving and doing things. He came back ready to go. And the mental side, either got sharper or stayed sharp. That's what you would learn. But I also read on the same token, would not be surprised if they're like, we don't want to rush this, put you in a bad spot, underperform, have you lack confidence. And then they would just, I could see them also holding him out one more week.
Missing today was kind of critical.
It's a bummer. It's a bummer, especially when you had that day off that you felt like could have knocked this out on Tuesday.
Could have taken care of it on Tuesday, right?
Yeah,
or even like this evening. Like,
Right.
can we meet in the evening so we don't have to miss practice?
Also, doesn't this seem like something that could be done virtually? Why does this need to be
why
done in
can't we do
person?
this over a Zoom? We went through COVID and all that stuff. Let's take the positives where we can get them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Daniel
with you.
Oyafusi gave some context. He said there's currently no word on timeline for resolution, but once the league completes its investigation and shares its discipline decision, then the obvious thing happens. They can try to negotiate or accept the penalty. If they can't come to an agreement, players either accept the initial discipline or goes to Sue L. Robinson, who makes that official third-party resolution.
Hopefully,
So, yeah.
agreement usually is the best way.
I still think it's a game. I think it turns into a game. That's my guess.
Yep.
So, okay. What do you got?
Here's my last thought on this, real quick.
Yeah.
Isaiah Bond. The Browns were back channeling that thing. They had to the whole time.
Indeed.
And were highly involved the whole time or else they wouldn't have announced the second his charges were dropped that he wouldn't have known he was going to the Browns immediately.
100%. And he was back channeling into the week 1 snap count that we didn't expect. So something's going on there.
This is my point. This is my point exactly. So if they were doing that, who's to say they weren't involved in the same level with Quinnion? So, because that took me by surprise was the usage of Bond in week 1, where I didn't think he would be ready. So maybe they've been more involved than we even realize.
Totally fair. Think that's why I walked back to the statement 60 seconds ago, because I can't come to some assumption that there's not that level of communication or that level of homework study where they're Deuce Staley sending him, clips on, he's got to write them up or do whatever it takes, whatever their method is. Who's to say he's not ready to hit the ground running? So, you assume like these guys are not around the team. Maybe they're not even thinking football, but can't live in that world. The Browns knew they're going to eventually sign him. They knew all that was going to work itself out. It's just, you should be able to handle some things, especially early down, considering Isaiah Bond was he even there 2 weeks? I mean, I don't even know if he was there 2 full weeks. Was he?
Nope.
Maybe, well, he had to have been, because they had the week in between the bye. It was the week after the preseason game he played in.
Oh, you're right.
What I'm saying? So he was there just a little over 2 weeks. I don't know, Brad. We'll see.
I guess that's a little bit longer than I realized. But it was, needless to say, it was still surprising to see him as involved
100%
as early as he was.
I couldn't believe he was. I mean, I thought, like, okay, a little bubble screen makes sense. Maybe a little flat motion, scare them vertically, never know what happens. But he kind of kept showing up, and I'm like,
it was all
they're going to play him like
early.
20 snaps. Yeah, it was pretty surprising. Injury report on the way out the door on this opener. We have guys on the Browns side that are limited. Only one DNP was Judkins. So, that's to be expected when you're physically not in Berea. It's hard to practice, I'm told. Mike Hall continues to practice on a limited basis. Kevin said today he's taking it day by day. We're going to just continue to see how he feels, how he responds, where he's at. I predict another week. I think he comes back week 3. So good to see him working, getting ready, out there doing drills, all that good stuff.
I think we forget how impactful of a player he could possibly be for this team. He could be massive.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's really good. He's good. He's twitchy and disruptive. And he's another Malik Collins in the making. And I liked what I saw from Malik Collins, if you check out the defensive film room.
Yep.
Batonio takes a day off. God bless him. He needs him. Conklin takes an elbow and eye break today, a limited practice for him. Sounds like me when I wrestle with the kids, man. Catch a elbow to the eye. DeJuan Jones with a knee designation. He's limited. Didn't hear anything about it after the game. Don't think it's too concerning. Maybe just a little swelling after the game, something like that. He was working himself back from multiple, I don't know if it was multiple, but he's had one knee injury in the league so far. So something to monitor. And then Denzel Ward, who did miss a couple snaps intermittently, didn't miss many, missed a few. He's on a shoulder Achilles designation. Obviously, the shoulder's a carryover from the preseason, and the Achilles is new. So to turn our eyes at that, we'll see how that goes the rest of the week, because sometimes these guys can be limited one day and then it just doesn't respond well after that limited session. They end up DNP the next week. So something to keep in mind. On the other side, Jair Alexander, who was pretty bad in week 1 for them, the Packers corner they acquired over the summer, with a knee designation. He's limited. Based on the week 1 film, I'd like to see him play.
Like to see him out there. He played like 30 snaps, I think.
It wasn't good. It was really bad. And Ken kind of expounds on this when we have him on here in a minute. There are 3 big elements to what they do there. Their second tight end, who's very talented, who I thought was a fun comp to Harold Fannin. Isaiah Likely's got a foot injury designation, did not play week 1. Did not practice today. Was on the side working out according to those at Baltimore practice. We'll see. They're better when he's out there because they get really diverse. And, the Browns are a 50%, 12 personnel team in week 1. The Ravens like to do that too. The difference is they now actually have a functioning 11 personnel group with Nuke Hopkins. So that changes things a lot of bit, to be honest. The biggest of the names here is Justin, I think he changed his name. It's no longer Justin. Its name is escaping me, his first name, but Matabike, who's an exceptional defensive tackle. Nnamdi. There we go. Matabike is not practicing. He had an ankle injury in the game. It feels from talking to Ken he's not going to play, but we'll see what happens. He's a disruptor supreme inside. God, we liked in Brown circles during that draft, but
for sure.
That's one to watch. Patrick Ricard, their big fullback, utility back, big old O-lineman looking SOB, is a part of their diverse run game that they like to do, get him moving, pulling, and going all over the place, especially their option game. He's still dealing with a calf. Didn't play last week, not practicing early this week. We'll see. Some important names on that list. It seems as though the Ravens have a couple more serious injuries here than the Browns do. So take that for what it's worth. And then another name that'll come up later with Ken that I was surprised is not playing much for them, Keaton Mitchell. You hear him talk about their running back there, and the guy I loved, man. And he was really good until he hurt that knee, but it sounds like he's back. All right. Anything else, Brad, from Berea? Anything else around the Browns that we missed? I don't think so. I think that's it.
No,
it covers
we nailed it.
Perfect. Okay, guys, stop by the website. Continue to support what we're doing here at Browns Film Breakdown. I think you will find yourself enjoying all of the content, film rooms, long form film rooms that are covering every snap of offense, defense, early morning opening drive. Brad wrote a great opening drive yesterday that dealt with some updates around the team, how Kevin's done after a loss, some of the things around Denzel Ward and the salary cap and maneuvering that they did there. He's got some great updates in that one. Today's opening drive hits on Cedric Tillman, who performed really well in week 1. We do that. That's free. Get that at the minimum. Get the pod delivered to you at the minimum. But if you want to go and get the ad-free podcast, you want to go get some of the second segments, everything around Behind Enemy Lines and mailbags and all of it, unlocked every day, no ads. You can do that. Like today's show, I'm going to have Kim McKusick on, but it's only going to be for folks who support us because we want to reward those folks who take the time to give us something to make this site special. So that is today's show. If you're leaving us, you know where to find us. Couple cups of coffee a month, and you're in the club. You can get in the chat. You can have fun with us and talk Browns all day, 24/7. So you should do that. It's well worth your time, especially if you're a loyal podcast listener. Promise you that. That's it for today. For some of you, if you're with us in supporter capacity, stick around. We've got Ken coming up, and it's a great 20 minutes with him. So we'll be right back. Or we'll see you later. And go Browns.